So today we're off to see Oak Island, or I should say we would be if it was open to visitors. They usually have tours on the island by the people who own the island, but for some reason, maybe COVID, they stopped doing that, and there are no tours at all in 2022. So that's very unfortunate. I would have loved to have gone there and been on the island, but as it is, we're going to go see the island from the water, which is the only way you can do it. So what's with Oak Island? Well, back in 1700 and whatever, some teenage boy found something on the island that piqued his curiosity, and since those days, many years ago, the stories have grown up, and people have become convinced there's treasure, pirate treasure, buried on Oak Island in a special shaft that goes down now at an incredible distance. I suppose you can probably figure out how the stories have become exaggerated over the years, but there's nothing people love more than a good pirate treasure story. So there have been a lot of excavations going on in the island, and this shaft has been dug out and deepened many times until at one point it filled up with seawater, which was also a very clever trap of the pirates. You know, pirates love nothing more than to take treasure that they've captured and then bury it someplace they'll never get it again, nor will anybody else. Doesn't make much sense, but that's what things are like when you're talking about pirate treasure. So we're going to go take a look at that today. That's one of our stops, or actually the only stop that we're making on the way to Yarmouth.
Side with the little blue kind of house, yeah, that is Little Island. So we have Big and Little Island. Okay, so Little Island was once owned by a guy called Gerald Cottle, and he created a website called Quadriga. Anybody heard of these two things? No? So Quadriga was the first website in North America you can exchange Bitcoin for Canadian dollars.
Oh, okay.
So you've heard of Bitcoin, hopefully.
Okay.
So Bitcoin later on, well before it was nothing, right? It was less than a cent for one coin. Then it went up to about $50,000 to $60,000 for one coin. And he made a lot of money for this because Quadriga, that being that first website you can exchange Canadian dollars for Bitcoin, a lot of people invested with him. He made a lot of money. And that island there was his. Okay, but 2019, on his honeymoon in India, he died of Crohn's disease. And he was the only person that could...
Crohn's.
Yes, exactly. And he was the only person that could access all of the investment money that people have gave him. $215 million he died with. And I say died lightly because a few weeks after his death, a death certificate showed up. And there were spelling mistakes in his name, his date of birth was wrong and things like that. And then when they looked into it, they found out you can buy one in India for about $500. So it would have been on the top of those wooden pillars, and then the weight of the steam engine actually collapsed the sawmill. There's the base of that actually started rotting out, and there was a steam engine sawmill, and that was the end of it. That collapsed around. And if you look in and around these trees, okay, you will hopefully see there are some orange flags. So those orange flags are absolutely everywhere. Okay. And so we have lot 4 next to lot 5 on the right, lot 3 is next to that. So when you watch season 10, remembers lots 3, 4 and 5.
Thanks for the tip.
Well, the reason why I say that is because if you look here, there's lots of flags. That must mean there's something here. Or at least they're looking here, right? It's going to be the first deepest area around Oak Island. This isn't deep enough that you can get a ship close enough to shore to offload cargo and treasure or cattle, but it's definitely deep enough to maybe protect yourself from winds on the south side, but also from people seeing you from the Atlantic Ocean that I'll point out to you on the other side. The high tide comes up to the wall just on the other side of it. So that before the side of the beach, but this is Smith's Cove, or Smuggler's Cove as well, as once known as well. Where we built that big metal wall, that big cofferdam. Okay, that cofferdam came out 50 feet. It was a big metal wall. It's huge. And I'm just going to spin us back around. Systems everywhere. So this whole area is the money pit area.
Okay.
And then obviously you saw them digging further back.
Yeah.
This is them just trying to find other areas. They may have found a tunnel system or something, or something that interests them where they didn't move. Yeah, there's lots of tunnel systems. Yeah. So we have the Irving crane. People believe there's a shipwreck inside this swamp.
Have you dove here?
Kind of. But I mean, in this bay? What do you mean in this one? Yeah.
So if you're at high tide, can you see much more?
You can see. That's what the Coast Guard. I don't know who it is. It's a good boat though. I want it.
Who's this guy, you know?
No idea. I like the boat though.
Well, that was a very pleasant tour on that small boat taking a look at Oak Island. I think we would have got a lot more out of it if we'd been regular watchers of the television series on the History Channel. But apparently we may be the only people in the world who don't know about this show. It's been going on for 9 seasons. They're busy filming their 10th season right now. And so the search for possible buried treasure on Oak Island continues. It's quite a operation, as you saw from the machinery that's working there now. But I think that the big money is in the television series. And everybody on our little boat, we're fans of the show. We're there to see Oak Island because of the show. And I guess we were the only ones that were there because of just a non-television appreciation of what Oak Island was supposed to be. Anyway, it's an interesting psychological experiment, I think, or examination more than anything else.
Is there buried treasure at Oak Island? I think not. Are there huge riches there? Well, I discovered the probable reason for the closure of the island to visitors this year, the likelihood that someone would bring COVID to the work crew and the television production would have to be temporarily shut down. The series is said to pay the cast members $100,000 per episode, or $2 million a season. That's a lot of pieces of eight.
Well, Queen Elizabeth just died.
Really?
Last thing I heard this morning is that something about she was canceled some things under close supervision, and now she's dead.
Wow. Well, that's the end of an era.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
dead at 96. Same age as my mom.
Yeah, and so the end of the only British monarch that you and I have any experience with.
Yeah.
And I guess Charles is going to be king, and
Right.
we're going to have a new monarch. Wow.